Hello, I'm April Shadowski, an educator and advocate for innovative educational practices.
Actually, I'm April Shadowski, and that little widget was my Voki, or virtual avatar, and I've used it before in my online courses to kind of liven up an otherwise dull course. And there are many tools that I've used before, and I want to talk about some of them, especially those tech extras are really fun. But there are some other big changes that we can make to the way that we educate or the way that we think about educating in order to inspire and challenge our students like they never have been before. The first big change that classrooms need to make is to move to project-based learning. First, you have to follow the interests of the child. The customer is always right. For teachers, the students are the customers, and we will do whatever it takes to get them to buy into learning. When I discovered art trading cards and I realized that there could be a lot of educational value in making them, I couldn't wait to get started, but after planning, I decided to go with subtlety. I left some of the blank cards on my desk, and when students asked what they were for, I told them it was something that's really gotten popular and I wanted to try to make a few to trade with other artists. They took the bait. They began researching for me so that I'd be convinced to let them make a few of their own. Now begins the project, which leads me to step 2. Encourage a student to teach you something. Everyone loves to share what they know. If the students feel like they discover something unknown to you or peers, it not only builds their confidence, but it makes them feel more connected to the topic. The research they put into finding out what can be done with their art trading cards and where we could trade them outside of our school was an important 21st century skill. They were answer seekers. 3. Let students help structure the parameters and expectations. Even though teachers need to plan and structure projects in order to cover certain knowledge and skills, give up some of the control. This can be a hard one. I had to make sure it was being steered in a direction that would be challenging enough. But with the art trading cards, the students wanted to be involved in the assessment of cards because they wanted a point system that would rank the cards and decide what they were valued at. Cards could gain value by having certain strengths, like more representation, interdisciplinary topics, originality, elements and principles used, more media utilized, or better craftsmanship. It was a game, but it included a lot of research, planning, discussion, and creativity. When looking at the framework for a well-built PBL, the art trading card project fits the bill. Next, we need to plan our lessons with cross-curriculum design. Take an interest in the whole child. A good educator sees value in every subject under the sun and does not think of their classroom as an island. We should not teach just part of the child, neglecting the rest. The whole brain and the whole soul need to be nurtured, and cross-curriculum design can do that. I want to spread my love of learning for all things, and I relish the opportunity to work with others that haven't lost their hunger for discovery and creation. So find enthusiastic partners to join you. Lucky for me, there were many teachers that shared my enthusiasm for branching out and working together on a common goal. We created interdisciplinary lessons in the classroom and also worked with groups of kids after school for Model UN, Academic Decathlon, GT, and Debate, where many subjects are utilized in order to complete a project for a competition or where students must learn about all aspects of a certain topic. This past year in my after-school program, I got the students involved in several cross-curriculum projects outside their homework. Our geocache hunting was more than just fun. They worked together to plan a geocache with a theme, create items to go inside it, and fit their ideas into the hiding guidelines. They had to use their understanding of coordinates, their ability to solve problems, and other skills and research was utilized to accomplish this mission. To effectively work together and to expect students to understand a very minimum list of important concepts, there is something that co-teachers have to do first, and that is to plan, and plan some more. The other teachers at my school and I had to plan for many scenarios, yet we wanted the students to wind up with a particular set of skills and knowledge. What students took away from the project, though, could not always be planned for, as sometimes they learned more than we expected them to. These twists and turns were again more real-world-like than any textbook or worksheet could ever hope to be. Next, classes need to be open, learning-centered. Do not let grades be the reward. Mr. Gio, my favorite teacher when I lived overseas, frequently said, "Life is not a grade," and he refused to give any kind of grade. Surrounded by kids from all over the world with well-educated parents, they acted as if their lives depended on their grades. After a few years, I figured out what his meaning was. The real world does not reward us with grades. When creating lessons, I want to appeal to the part of their human nature that wants to connect with the world, feel like their work is important, inspiring, useful, and helpful. I want children to see their hard work and to be proud of it. 2. Involve the parents, community, and even the world. I was the first teacher at Hawkins to create a website and social network page for my classroom because I knew that students needed to know their artwork was being seen. I also wanted them to start connecting with something bigger. I created an easy way to upload photos to an online gallery, and besides our art cases in the hallways, we wanted to put on big art shows every semester. We also did projects that brought in guest artists, like a local potter, or the Japanese artist that taught my students how to make origami peace cranes. My students got determined to make 1,000 cranes because of an ancient Japanese tradition. We needed to call on many others outside the classroom to accomplish this. My students and I had to teach anyone interested in learning how to fold this fairly difficult origami, including peers, other teachers, staff, family, and the administration. We had to finish them all quickly in order to string them up and hang them in a teacher's classroom that was battling cancer and coming back in a week. The project was so inspiring, it even made the news, making the students even more motivated to start the next project. The students and everyone involved learned lasting and profound lessons and shared them with others. Discover alternative ways of assessment. With a smaller focus on grades, alternative ways of assessment need to be found. Making sure the child has access to a checklist of what they need to know is very effective. These mini goals helps to break down the subject and gives them a chance to oversee their own learning. Tokens, charts, and rubrics can be used to make sure they are where they need to be. In an art class, peer critiques are used frequently as it is important to discuss what you perceive about works of art. However, this can be done in project-based learning no matter what the topic. Remember that group and class critiques usually need a set of parameters or rules to abide by in order to give helpful and constructive feedback to others. Finally, make sure you're using innovative technology. Embrace the future of technology, but remember the real world. There's no denying that technology is going to be a huge part of our students' future if it isn't already. In order to compete in a global market, we must teach our children these valuable skills. I've created an online course from the ground up, created social networks for classrooms, nonprofits, and parent organizations to magnify communication. I've made videos, podcasts, and slideshows to be used by my students and others for learning and studying when they're homebound or when I have a substitute. We've Skyped with other educators and classrooms and even taken virtual field trips. I've even been among the first to test new hardware, software, and web tools in my district in order to teach other educators. But even with all of the fun and engaging Techland wonders, I realized that we should not try and totally replace real-world experiences, and we should pull our students away from the screens whenever possible. Do not be afraid to play and explore. I can't even imagine how many hours I've spent playing with a new tech tool, or how many times I've started things over from scratch in order to see what all the technology can do. Children are quick to learn about technology because they have not forgotten how to play, and they do not hold themselves back out of fear or frustration. Try and channel that attitude when approaching something new. 3. Face challenges with technology tenaciously. Educators must do what they can to learn new tricks and skills that our students will certainly be using in their future. Whether it's researching for the answer, talking to others that are tech-minded, especially the students, or if it's just reading the help files, do what you can to overcome challenges and remember that your search bar is just a click away. These 4 different innovative changes that I've discussed can be difficult to implement and will certainly drag you out of your comfort zone, but like the author Arnold Bennett says, any change, even a change for the better, is always accompanied by drawbacks and discomforts. Many obstacles may threaten to block our way, but they are merely challenges, and we must model this attitude in order to encourage the next generation to overcome frustrations. Thank you so much for taking the time to hear about my experiences in teaching creatively. I'm April Shadowski, and until next time.